Figuring out if a girl is into you beyond just friendship can be a bit tricky, especially for us more perceptive folks. It's important not to misread her signals, as she might just be naturally friendly, authentic, or a bit flirty. Nobody wants to accidentally cross any lines or find themselves stuck in the friend zone. In this video, we'll talk about 12 signs she might like you more than just a friend, giving you a heads up on what to look out for. Let's dive into these clues together. 1. Her friends pay more attention to you. You can read quite a bit about a person from the way her friends act. If she's been telling them about you, it's very likely that at least one of them will check you out. They will wonder, what did our friend see in this guy? Or, are they really a good match? So they'll try to figure out just what kind of person you are, and will try to see what you've been up to in real life and in social media. Some might even drop all subtlety and outright follow or try to send you a friend request. And if they see you flirting with someone else, then it's very likely that she'll hear about it. 2. Her friends stop talking when you're near. This might seem ominous at first. The obvious conclusion is that maybe they were talking about you and didn't want to have you catching their conversation. But gossip isn't necessarily bad. Perhaps they were talking to each other about how good you are for their friend, and they simply feel awkward about having you hear that praise. Whatever they might be talking about, it's a definite sign that you're someone to their friend. And it doesn't even have to be because their friend told them. Sometimes friends can figure people's feelings out without being told about it. 3. She tries to match your interests. You told her you like tennis. A week later, she comes at you with a racket in hand and a request to teach her more about the game. Or perhaps you told her that you like jazz, so she asks for recommendations and then listens to them at her office. She pays close attention to the things you tell her, especially the things you like, and you can see her geeking out on the same things. She's doing this so you have things in common to talk about, because of course, she likes you. 4. She can't stare at you for too long. A girl who likes you would stare at you. But do stare back at her and she'd be the first one to look away. Well, that's because she's probably crushing on you. In fact, looking at you and then looking away is one of the early signs a woman likes you. She looks at you because she can't help but want to know you more, and looks away because she doesn't know you that well and doesn't want to be caught staring. After all, staring is a sign of attraction, and she might be concerned about creeping you out or being too obvious with her feelings. 5. She knows a lot of things about you. You didn't tell her anything, so you're surprised that she knows some things about you. She asks, "So how's your trip to Peru?" when you only told your close friends about it. Or she says, "Hey, I bought some mac and cheese. It's your favorite, right?" when you never told her this fact. Chances are she probably scrolls around your feed and asks around to know you better. And of course she pays extra attention to you in real life. And yet, as discreet as she might think she is, she'll still end up knowing a bit more than anyone else should. Point it out to her, and she'd blush and feel awkward. You caught her in the act, and you now know that she really likes you. 6. She pays attention to your quirks. A girl who likes you notices the things about you that not everybody notices. She pays attention to how you do things, from the way you wince when you sip your hot coffee, to your habit of tapping your arms on your things when you're stressed. She finds your quirks adorable, and she'd find a way to tell you about it. She might say, "You're like a baby when you drink coffee." And when you start to get cute to her eyes, she probably likes you. 7. She posts about the stuff you have in common. Girl who likes you would be interested in the things you're interested in. And she won't stop there. She will highlight the things you have in common, interests included. So you'll notice just how compatible you are. And of course, so you'll comment, send a message, or talk about it in real life. If you're both passionate about abortion rights, she'll post about it and even tag you or send you a message with a link to the campaign. If you're both into dogs and you talked about it earlier today, she posts about it while your convo is still fresh, hoping this small connection would lead to something bigger. 8. She tries to stand out in a group. She laughs loudly when you're around. She'd even glance at you to check if you're looking at her while she's laughing. When you're in a group, she finds a way to talk so you'll notice her and hopefully think she's clever. Yes, a woman in love can be a little desperate. But aren't we all like that? She tries to shine and stand out when she's with other people, not for them to like her, but for you to look at her and approach her. 9. She reciprocates your advances. When you're with a girl who likes you, you get back what you give and more. There isn't any dead air between the two of you when you're together, and you don't feel like you have to work hard just to keep the conversation going. She'd eagerly engage with you, laughing, saying jokes, answering your questions, and asking her own in turn. And when you try to make her blush, she sees no issue in flirting right back. She might even flirt back harder and leave you a stuttering mess. A woman who likes you will show clear interest. She doesn't see any point why she should deprive herself from having a good time with you. 10. She jokes about how hot she thinks you are. It's not always the most obvious because she'll probably try to deflect it by removing herself from the picture, but people, especially girls who like you, don't simply say things out of nowhere. For example, she might say, "Geez, you're so hot you'd light the whole city on fire." Or she might see someone try flirting with you and she'd go, "Dang, look at you, a real Casanova." See, if she jokes about how hot you are in her eyes, that's probably because she actually does think you're hot. A couple of times might just be her joshing around, but if it's consistent, she definitely is trying to get a point across. 11. She begins to show jealous behavior. A sure sign that a girl likes you, you may notice that she becomes protective of you and shows emotional reactions like anxiety or insecurity when you interact with other potential romantic interests. This behavior suggests she cares deeply about your attention and affection and is afraid of losing it to another girl. Jealousy also manifests itself in the form of competitiveness. She may engage in subtle competition with others who show interest in you. This competitive behavior can be a way of trying to outshine or outperform other women in order to secure your undivided attention. 12. She rushes to you for comfort. She wastes no time in rushing to you whenever there's something bothering her and she just needs a little company. For example, she might blow up your inbox with messages about how horrible her day had been and complain about how her coworkers pissed her off. If you're coworkers, she might go to you when she's about to break down and ask for a hug. It's possible that she really sees you as a friend, but it's also possible she's intentionally doing it because it's a good excuse to be closer to you. These 12 things listed in the video are good signs to go by if you want to gauge a girl's interest in you. Just one of these might not be enough for you to come to a conclusion. But if she ticks off at least 3 signs, then you can be sure that she likes you more than friend. And of course, the more the better. But just because you figured out she's into you doesn't mean you can just make your move straight away. No, to be a real gentleman, you need to approach her at her own pace and meet her in the middle.